Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Youth and the Education System in Dominica. I am Jane Rose Romain, a student of the University of the West Indies. Presently, I'm pursuing a bachelor's in social science in youth and developmental work. In tonight's discussion, we are going to concentrate on 4 critical aspects of the education system in Dominica as it relates specifically to the youth. 1. We will concentrate on the educational opportunities that are made available to young persons on the island. 2. We will also look at the different levels of education that are being offered to young persons on this island as well. 3. We will look at or explore some of the unique programs that are being offered for the development of young persons. And finally, we will also look at the concentration that is being, or how much concentration is being actually placed on the technical and vocational skills or the training in this area of young persons. However, before we actually delve into tonight's presentation, I will just take some time out to just give a brief overview of my island, Dominica. Dominica, not the Dominican Republic, which it is frequently mistaken for, is located between the 2 French islands of Guadeloupe and Martinique. Guadeloupe is located the extreme north of the island, and Martinique, on the other hand, is located to the immediate south of the island. Dominica is also the largest of the Windward Islands, and it is also the most northerly of that group. The island is known for its water resources and plenty natural resources, as a matter of fact. There are 365 rivers on the island. You can actually say there is one for every day of the year. Because of the nature of our island, Dominica is an ideal destination for agriculture, and as a result of that, agriculture is one of the mainstays of the island. Over the years, a lot of concentration has been placed on ecotourism. However, agriculture still remains the dominant source of income on the island. As a matter of fact, 40% of the labor force comes from agriculture. So that is basically just a brief overview of Dominica. Now, the next thing that we are going to concentrate on, which is also very important to tonight's discussion, is the definition of the youth. We are going to basically concentrate on the definition based on the definition that was presented by the United Nations, which Dominica also forms part of. The United Nations defines a youth as a young person or a person between the ages of 15 to 24. So whenever we mention youth in tonight's discussion, we are more or less concentrating on persons within that age category. So the next part of our presentation for tonight here is to attempt to concentrate on the first aspect of the education system, which I mentioned previously, the educational opportunities that are being made available to young persons. Fortunately for us in Dominica, the youth is seen as persons that are very critical to the development of the country's future. They are seen as valuable assets, and as a result of that, a lot of investment is actually placed in the youth or in the development of the young people. First, we believe in the policy of every young person should obtain an education. And with that, there is the availability of the universal education system, which is made available to all young persons, and that allows them to attend to secondary school. So they are given a right to attend, that every youth should attend a secondary school on the island. With that, there is the free textbook scheme, which is offered to assist the young persons in pursuing their secondary education. The government has also implemented transportation fee or allowances to persons who are living in the rural areas or the young persons who are expected to commute to and from school. So transportation is given to them, especially those who are at a financial disadvantage. In addition to that, upon commencement of secondary school, there is also a sum or a grant of $500 that is given to every child that begins the secondary or begins their secondary education. With that $500 grant, hopefully the students are able to use such funds in purchasing their materials such as the books, clothing, etc. for secondary school. All students completing the secondary education, of course, are also given the privilege to attend the tertiary level education, that is college level. Additionally, the government has also invested in providing scholarships to students that are attending college based on their performance in the CXC examination results. In addition to that, the government also takes into consideration the financial position of the family, so assistance is also given to those who are less fortunate as well. In addition to that, tertiary education being offered to young persons, there is also a number of scholarships over the years being granted and offered to young persons. Persons are given the opportunity where they could go overseas to pursue careers that they're interested in to further develop themselves in countries such as China, Morocco, there is Venezuela. You also have the Russia government offering scholarships to persons on the island. The government of Turkey is also offering scholarships, and we also have the OAS and the Commonwealth Secretariat. So these are just a few areas where students or governments that liaise with the Dominican government in offering young persons scholarship or an opportunity to further enhance themselves. Next, we are going to move on to the second aspect of our discussion, which is the level of education that is provided to young persons on the island. Of course, we are not concentrating on the child per se, but there is early childhood education being made available to every child on the island, and there is also the primary education. But since that is not our main concentration, we are going to move on to the secondary level of education, which is somewhat more pertinent to the persons of the youth category. There is the secondary education, and of course, with the secondary education, there are 16 secondary schools basically on the island. 6 of the secondary schools are government owned. Then there are 8 of them that are government assisted, and we also have 2 that are privately owned. There are schools in the various areas around Dominica communities. For example, 9 of the 16 secondary schools are located in the capital, Roseau, and there are 3 in the second town, Portsmouth. Of course, there are other secondary schools in various communities that serves as catchment for rural communities. So we have the secondary education that is made available to young persons. Then there is the tertiary level of education that is also made available to young persons. The tertiary education exist in many forms. For example, we have the Dominica State College, which is the main one, and it is the sole college on the island. So it serves for all young persons on the island. It is located in the capital, Roseau, and as a result of that, many persons or youth living in the rural areas are expected to commute to and from college. Of course, there are instances where persons, because of the financial burden and the burden of having to commute from back and forth to school, they may live in the town area with close friends or relatives. However, government also comes to the aid of persons in such situation by providing transportation allowance to young persons that are in need. In addition to that, the Dominica State College exists in different forms. So attached to the Dominica State College, of course, we have the Teachers Training College. There is also the Nursing School, and we also have the Academics and Technical Division. So all of these units form part of the Dominica State College. In addition to the tertiary level education that is made available to young persons, there is also the university level that is made available to young persons. First and foremost, there is the University of the West Indies, of course, which I'm enrolled in. And presently, we are given the opportunity to pursue our degrees online. So we do not have an open campus here in Dominica, unfortunately for us, but however, we have a site. Okay, so in this way, most persons who want to pursue their degrees with you, would have to do that online. In addition to that, there is also the Ross Medical School that is also made available, and there is the All Saints School of Medicine. So that is as far as the university level is concerned, and of course there are young persons that are pursuing other online university levels to further enhance themselves. Then there is also the Business Training Center, commonly known as BTC. It is basically a private entity, but it allows young persons to pursue or to continue their studies. Most likely, sometimes there are young persons that probably did not complete their high school education, so of course they can go to the BTC, whereby they can qualify themselves by getting their CXC subjects, or they can also obtain associate degrees at BTC, which they would normally get at a college or even at university level. So BTC offers qualification in a number of areas. There is also CALS. It is an institution more or less of a technical, vocational kind, but again, it allows young persons who are not academically inclined to pursue or to enhance their studies in the technical areas. And that again, CALS is located in the second town, Portsmouth. So it is basically one of its kind in the second town of Portsmouth. The next aspect that we are going to concentrate on is the special training that is being offered to meet the needs of young people. What special training is being placed to help enhance young persons? One of the most dominant or the most common one that is frequently known or heard of in Dominica is the Youth Skills Training Program. It is a very, very important training program to many young persons, including myself, benefited from that when I was through with my first year at secondary school. It provides training in a number of areas. One of the most dominant one that young persons take the opportunity to enhance themselves is in computer literacy. So they have the privilege to go there and to also develop themselves in other vocational areas. So there is sewing, there is also candle production, there is the production of furniture, woodwork, and a number of other programs that the youth skill training offers to young persons. In addition to that, there is also a Ghana program which provides training in agriculture. As I said, that is a very important aspect of Dominica's culture and the income in Dominica. So there is training in agriculture, and they also concentrate on life skills as well as craft, cooking, and also woodwork. So young persons gain training in these areas. So these are just a few of them that we'll concentrate on. In addition to that, we are also going to concentrate on the provision of technical and vocational training. All right. For the youth skill training program, as I've just mentioned earlier, there is, of course, the key concentration here is the development of technical and vocational skills. So of course, persons have the opportunity to do automotive, electricity, electronics, and just a few of them. There is also, again, as I mentioned earlier, calls where the adolescents go to learn and develop new skills. At calls, they also do a number of technical and vocational skills, like almost the same that I've just mentioned at the youth skill training program, with the exception of computer literacy. Then there is the TVEC program that is being established in all secondary schools. So in every secondary school on the island, young persons are given the privilege whereby they can concentrate on technical or vocational subjects. So for example, at the school where I teach, students are given the privilege where they can do sewing. They are also given the opportunity to do home management, food and nutrition. There is also technical drawing, plumbing. There is woodwork, and even visual arts that students can actually pursue as far as CXC is concerned. So overall, generally, adequate concentration is being placed on developing young persons and enhancing their technical and vocational skills and training them adequately for the workforce. In tonight's presentation, of course, most of the information, if not all of the information that I have retrieved to you here tonight, were gathered from one of these sources that I'm about to mention. So there is the Economic and Social Review of Dominica for 2012-2013 on the Dominica's government website. There is also UNESCO annual report, 2000 annual report that is also made available on their website, unesco.org. There is the Youth Division of Dominica website that is made available with the skills and training programs in Dominica. So these are some of the sources or areas that I seek to obtain or to retrieve the information that I've just presented to you. So this is just a brief overview of youth and education in Dominica. I hope tonight's discussion has enlightened you as to what are some of the opportunities as far as the education system is being offered to young persons. Thank you for joining me in tonight's presentation, and do have a pleasant evening. Good night.